Hello everybody, Rob Brynick here, and like I said in my previous video, I'm going to be developing more content on healthy living and mindset, because the better things that we put into our bodies and our minds, the better results we get. So today's topic was actually given to me by Carrie Miller, so I tagged Carrie in this, and what we're going to be focusing on is clean eating and how to do it affordably, and GMOs, what you need to know about them and what you need to research. So if you are catching this live, go ahead and say hi in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll connect with you after the video. If you're catching the replay on this, just comment down below replay and where you're watching from, and I'll connect then too. So let's get started on it. So, clean eating, what does that mean? We've got all of these words out there. We've got organic foods, we've got GMOs, we have non-GMOs, we have all these different labels, stuff's labeled natural. So there's a lot of stuff out there, and a lot of the labeling can be deceptive, really. I'm going to focus on two main things. So I'm going to focus on avoiding GMOs, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So a GMO food is a genetically modified organism, okay? And a lot of GMOs are, these plants are designed to either be able to create their own pesticide or be resistant to pesticides like glyphosate. Glyphosate is the most popular herbicide in the world, but it's coming up for concerns about health risks. So something that kills pests or bugs, definitely can have damage on the human body, especially over time. So I'll put this in the comments down below, but this is just something I printed off from WebMD on herbicides and health. And so glyphosate is used in popular weed control products like Roundup, Rodeo, Pond Masters, and a lot of farmers use it in food production. So it's often used on fruit and vegetable crops. Also glyphosate resistant crops. So these are the GMOs that are made, GMO foods that are made to be able to withstand the pesticide on them, like canola, corn, cotton, soybeans, and sugar. So how many people are consuming products that are corn-based or soybean-based or sugar-based? So there's you can get exposure from it from eating it or breathing it in. So they also found that glyphosate products, they sprayed on non-GMO crops like wheat, barley, oats, and beans to dry out crops so they can harvest it sooner. So a recent California scientist and the WHO found that 43 out of 45 oat-based products tested had it, and popular breakfast foods like Quaker oat-fashioned oatmeal or Cheerios had above average levels. So I don't know if you've heard about this before, but this is what GMOs are exposing people to levels of pesticide over time. And a lot of people say, the short term is not a big effect, but if it's something that you're doing over and over and over again, do the research. There are a lot of studies coming out, that they've done studies in generations of mice where concentrations have actually been passed down, and it has a really dramatic effect. Other foods that have it, bean products, pasta, barley, some other foods like avocados, apples, blueberries, cherries, cucumbers, dates, dried peas. All of these, can be sprayed with glyphosate. So you have GMO foods, you have non-GMO foods. The GMO foods are almost always, resistant to the glyphosate, so they can be heavily sprayed. You have the non-GMO foods that are still sprayed, like oat products and wheat, to dry them out quicker. And then you have organic products or certified organic products. So glyphosate is banned in organic farming. So one way to reduce your exposure to toxic pesticide levels is to buy organic, but that doesn't eliminate it entirely, because there is some like drifting. Glyphosate is in the air now. It's in the water, so it can get levels of exposure, but it's not being sprayed, which is important. So long-term health risks. There's studies out there that can link glyphosate with cancer, with liver and kidney damage, some reproductive issues. So do some research. I'll let you dig on your own for that. There's also been a high level of risk for pregnant women and children, and that developing kids in the womb may have a higher susceptibility to carcinogens. So now that we talked about organic food production and GMOs and even non-GMOs, how they can be exposed to these pesticides, let's talk about simple ways that you can take control of what you're eating, and that you can do it affordably. Because you all know, if you have an organic apple and you have a non-organic apple that's sprayed with glyphosate, the organic apple is going to be more expensive, right? So here are some things to consider, okay? Get as close to your food source as possible, so you know as much about it, and your proximity to your food source is also going to bring affordability. So one thing that you can do is a backyard garden, or if you don't have a yard, there's ways to garden on your porch. Garden stuff that you like to eat, because that's the thing that's going to save you money. And if you're growing it, you know where it's coming from, whether or not you've sprayed it with anything, and also what type of seeds you're planting. I have a friend of mine who actually they have an heirloom seed company, so I can connect you with them if you're interested in a backyard garden. They have seeds that have been carried on through generations for hundreds of years, so they're an old style of plant which produces a more nutritious fruit, because stuff that's happened in our farming practices today is that they've bred up these plants to have more and more fruit, but the plant still only has the same amount of nutrients, so every fruit or vegetable is actually less nutrient. So backyard garden is number one. Number two, to affordably get healthy food, is become a part of a CSA with a local farm. Reach out to the farms around you. It's a great way to eat food that's in season, and it's really affordable to do. We got a box of produce from one of our local farms. Like, when we looked at it, we're like, well, we could have never gotten all this produce for $20 at the store. So that's a great way to do that. If not a CSA, local farmers at a farmer's market, ask them how they raise their vegetables and their animals, and get out into nature and get your hands in the dirt. So this isn't about food, but it's about your microbiome, and with us being so removed from everyday getting in the dirt and gardening and stuff like that, it affects your microbiome and your gut health by not having your hands in the dirt. So another tip is organic root vegetables, because those root vegetables grown in the ground, they'll get a good exposure to microbiome for you. So I hope that this has helped. I hope you let me know if you learned something. If you learned something about GMOs or organic foods, let me know. I can say, if you are eating organic and you're buying organic at the store, it can cost more. It definitely can. But what you're going to save in your health in the long term, because remember, when we put better things in our bodies, we get better results. So another, if you want more information on this, another shift is just eating more whole foods. Make sure they're not sprayed with pesticides, but eating more whole foods and not processed foods. Almost every food that's processed or in a box has high fructose corn syrup in it. Corn is a highly genetically modified grain, and you are just constantly exposing your body to that tax. And the same thing goes for supplements. I always recommend food-based supplements, but make sure that those food-based supplements are being made from foods that were not raised in a GMO fashion. So thanks for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you want me to explore any more topics in what I just talked about, send me a message, or if you'd like more information on gardening or the seeds or non-GMO food-based supplements, I'll connect you with that also. But I hope you all have a blessed day, and thanks for hanging out today. Bye.